30 days sounds tiny, right? But for some people, 1 month without alcohol feels harder than a year of big promises. Why? Because a 30-day sober stretch doesn't just test your liver. It exposes your routines, your friendships, your stress habits in the version of yourself alcohol was quietly covering up. Why 30 days feels so powerful? There is a reason 30-day sobriety videos keep exploding online. The idea is simple, but it hits something deep. 30 days is short enough to feel possible and long enough to reveal the truth. It is not forever. It is not, I can never drink again. It is just long enough for the brain to stop hiding behind excuses and start showing patterns. That is what makes it psychologically powerful. When people say yes to 30 days sober, they are not only removing alcohol. Yes, they are running an experiment on themselves. They are asking a dangerous question. What if the problem is bigger than I admitted? They are also asking a hopeful one. What if I feel better than I expected? The most viral sobriety timelines understand this perfectly. They do not sell perfection, they sell discovery. Day 2 feels one way, day 7 feels different, day 30 feels like a mirror. That structure works because the human brain handles milestones better than forever. Forever feels like a cliff. 30 days feels like a challenge. NIAAA explains that alcohol can change the brain circuits involved in reward, stress, habit, and self-control. So when someone stops drinking for a month, they are not just taking away a beverage. They are interrupting a learned system. That interruption creates discomfort, but it also creates information. And information is the beginning of change. The secret motive behind the challenge. A lot of people start a 30-day sober run for one reason and stay for another. They tell themselves it is about health, calories, money, or proving they can do it. But deep down, many are chasing something harder to admit. They want to know if they are in control. That is the hidden psychology. A 30-day break becomes a test of freedom. If alcohol is really no big deal, then taking a month off should be easy. But if the mind keeps bargaining, delaying, minimizing, and making excuses, that tells a story. You see this all the time. A person says, I don't even drink that much. Then day 4 hits and suddenly they are weirdly angry, restless, bored, and obsessed with what everyone else is doing on Friday night. Yet the challenge stops being about alcohol and starts becoming about attachment. This is why the challenge can feel emotional, even for people who never called themselves addicted. The mind hates losing a quick source of relief, reward, routine, and identity. Even if someone only drank on weekends, the break may reveal how much they depended on those weekends to escape themselves. And that is where the first big shift happens. The challenge stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like a truth test. If this feels real to you, I wrote a book called The Big Liquor Life, where I go deeper into these patterns and how to break them in real life. If you want clarity beyond just 30 days, check it out. Link in the description. Week 1, the brain throws a fit. The first week is often the loudest, not always the worst in a medical sense, but the loudest in the mind. Sleep can get weird, mood can swing, cravings can show up at the exact hour the first drink used to happen. The brain says, something is missing. NIAAA describes the withdrawal and negative affect stage of addiction as a state where stress rises and the brain can feel irritable, low, uneasy, and out of balance. In plain language, your brain does not like losing a fast shortcut. It complains, loudly. That is why many people doing 30 sober days feel shocked by how emotional they become. They thought they were giving up fun. Instead, they discover they were also giving up a coping tool. Without the tool, feelings that were being delayed or numbed start knocking on the door all at once. This is the moment where people usually make one of 2 moves. The first move is panic. This is awful. Sobriety is making me miserable. The second move is curiosity. Interesting, I did not know this habit was doing that much emotional work for me. That second move changes everything. The best recovery-style videos build retention by being honest about this stage. They do not pretend day 3 feels magical. They say boredom gets louder, sleep gets messy, your brain will bargain. That honesty helps viewers stay because it turns struggle into a sign, not a failure. Still, this part comes with an important warning. For heavy drinkers, withdrawal can be dangerous. Medical support matters. A 30-day challenge is not a game if the body's dependent. Safety first, always. Week 2, identity starts to shake. By the second week, something interesting happens. The physical noise may calm a little, but the identity noise gets louder. When this is where people start asking, who am I at dinner? What do I do at parties? Why does this feel awkward? This matters because alcohol is rarely just a substance. It is often a role. It can be the social switch, the confidence costume, the stress reward, the date night ritual, the symbol of adulthood, or the thing that makes somebody feel less shy. When alcohol leaves, the person meets themselves without the costume. That can feel liberating or terrifying, sometimes both in the same night. A guy might realize he was never actually relaxed at the bar. He was just sedated enough to stop noticing his tension. A woman might realize the fun she thought alcohol gave her was really just louder behavior, not deeper joy. A young professional might realize every networking event feels empty without a drink because he never learned how to connect there honestly. This is why 30 sober days can trigger a mini identity crisis. But that crisis is useful. It exposes all the places where alcohol was acting like fake confidence. And once you see the fake support, you can begin building real support. Week 3, the reward system begins to relearn. By the third week, many people start noticing small wins that sound boring on paper, but feel huge in real life. Better mornings, less shame, more stable energy, less 3 a.m. anxiety, money not disappearing for no reason, a cleaner kitchen, a quieter mind after social events. That matters because alcohol trains the reward system to expect big spikes and quick relief. When those spikes are gone, and a normal life can look flat at first, then slowly the scale starts to rebalance. A walk feels better, sleep feels better, a calm evening feels better, a finished workout feels better, a real laugh feels cleaner. This is one reason sober challenge videos often keep viewers hooked with milestone payoffs. Day 7 gives relief, day 14 gives clarity, day 30 gives perspective. The brain loves progression, and when people can see progress, they are more willing to continue. Northwestern medicine notes that alcohol can disrupt dopamine and other brain chemistry, and poor sleep makes the next day feel even worse. So when people stop drinking, they are not only removing hangovers, they are giving the brain a chance to stop riding that same high crash cycle every week. The best part is that the rewards get more honest. What they do not hit like fireworks, they feel like your life is becoming easier to carry. Week 4, control starts turning into confidence. This is the part many people never expect. Around the end of the month, the challenge starts changing shape. It is no longer only about not drinking, it becomes proof. Proof that a craving can rise and leave without being obeyed. Proof that a Friday can still happen. Proof that sleep, mood, and self-respect are connected. That proof builds confidence in a very specific way. Not fake confidence, not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that says, I can trust myself a little more than I thought. And that kind of confidence matters beyond alcohol. Once someone sees they can survive discomfort without numbing it instantly, they often start making other changes too. They wake earlier, train harder, spend less, call people back, clean up unfinished business. Not because sobriety turns them into superheroes, but because it removes a weekly reset button that kept their life blurry. NIAAA notes that some brain changes linked to heavy drinking can improve with months of abstinence. 30 days is not a miracle, but it is enough time for many people to feel the beginning of that recovery in daily life. And the emotional impact is huge. Hope becomes believable when the body starts giving evidence. Why public commitment and community help so much? One reason 30-day challenges work better than vague promises is that they create visible structure. The person has a start date, an end date, and often a social layer. Maybe they tell a friend. Maybe they post online. Maybe they join a group. And that matters because behavior gets stronger when it is witnessed. A private wish can disappear in a stressful moment. A named challenge feels more solid. It gives the mind a frame. I'm doing a month. That sentence is easier to protect than a fuzzy goal like, I should probably cut back sometime. Community also helps with a huge psychological problem in early sobriety: distorted comparison. When someone quits alone, they may assume everybody else is having fun while they suffer. But hearing other people say, "Day 5 was rough for me too," can stop the panic. It turns personal struggle into a normal stage. This is another reason milestone videos and comment sections do so well. They create shared reality. They tell the viewer, you are not broken, you are in a phase. And when people feel understood, now they are far more likely to keep going. Why some people return to drinking after 30 days. Now here is the twist. A 30-day break does not guarantee permanent change. In fact, many people go right back to drinking. But even that tells us something important about psychology. Some return because they treated the challenge like a countdown instead of a reset. They spent the whole month fantasizing about the reward drink at the end. Others return because sobriety exposed deeper pain they were not ready to face: stress, loneliness, social anxiety, trauma, burnout, relationship problems. Alcohol was not the root, but it was covering the root. And some return because their environment never changed. Same friends, same couch, same Friday script, same emotional pressure, different goal, same setup. That rarely lasts. Again, this is why the real question after 30 days is not, can I drink again? The better question is, what did this month teach me about why I was drinking? If the answer is, I drink when I feel rejected, or I drink because I do not know how to rest, that is powerful. Now the problem is visible. The month is not a moral test, it is data. So what the 30-day challenge really changes? What is the psychology of people who go sober for 30 days? At first, they are often motivated by curiosity, fear, pride, or frustration. Then they run into resistance. Then identity gets shaken. Then rewards begin to rebalance. Then confidence begins to grow. But the deepest change is this. They stop relating to alcohol like background noise and start relating to it like a force with patterns, triggers, and costs. That shift matters. Once something becomes visible, it becomes harder to romanticize. A person may finish the month and decide never to drink again. Another may drink again, but in a more conscious way. Another may realize moderation is a fantasy for them. Another may discover they need real treatment, not another challenge. All of those outcomes can begin with the same 30 days because the challenge reveals truth. If you want the challenge to work, keep it simple. Do not glamorize it. Track your mood, track your sleep, track your cravings. Notice what time feels hardest. Notice which people make it easier or harder. Notice what you are actually hungry for when you say you want to drink. Because in the end, 30 sober days are not powerful because they are trendy. And they are powerful because they let people meet themselves without a chemical translator in the middle. And for a lot of people, that is the first honest conversation they have had with themselves in years. So if you've ever wondered why a 30-day break can feel so intense, now you know. It's not just about alcohol leaving, it's about the truth showing up. If you've tried this before, or you're thinking about it, let me know below. And if this helped, give it a like, share it with someone, and subscribe for more simple, real talk like this.